So after aligning your IGI with nav, you can now enter waypoints. So the first thing to do is to go to the waypoint page by pressing the waypoint button. At the top you'll see waypoint menu, and then from here you want to choose waypoint. Walking through this page, once you're on this page, I'll just walk you through a few things. Top left is the name of the page, waypoint. You've got the current waypoint you're editing, so this is waypoint 0. You've got the elevation of said waypoint, the northing, easting, the name of the waypoint is here. Creation of a new waypoint. Currently I've got some waypoints already, so this is going to create waypoint 6. Then you've got long, which is the reference system that is used. I can change that to UTM, which will use MGRS grid reference system to show and it will automatically convert the waypoints to that mode. Now to create a new waypoint, we are going to press this button here. This button will allow you to name it first and then create a waypoint, or you can just create a waypoint and then name it. We'll name it first. We'll go alpha on the keyboard, into the scratch pad, and we'll put that into (6). You'll see it automatically takes us to waypoint 6 with the name alpha. Okay, now we're going to add in some coordinates. For the northing, we're going to do 42, 17, decimal 815. That's going to go in the northing. And for the easting, I'm going to do 041, 50, decimal 115. For error correction, in what you've typed in the scratchpad, you have two buttons. You've got the back button, which will remove the last letter or number from the scratchpad, and you've also got the clear button, which will remove everything in the scratchpad currently. I'm going to put this into easting, however, and you'll see the elevation updates to the ground elevation at this coordinate. Next, I'm going to create another waypoint. I'm going to call it Bravo. I'm going to put that in as waypoint 7 in this case. So going to be a new waypoint. Automatically takes me there. And the coordinates for this waypoint are going to be in MGRS, so I'm going to change that long to UTM. Here I'm going to make sure firstly that the 37 Tango grid square is accurate. In this case it is, so I'm going to leave it. However, if it wasn't, I would just type in the number and the letter afterwards and put that in there. The coordinate I'm going to use here is Golf 29602 74018. I'm going to put that in there. We'll update the coordinates. The elevation has updated, but I believe it's the same elevation as the previous one. And that is this coordinate done. So we're going to create a new one called Charlie. There we go. And in there, and we're going to put that into (8) to create the new waypoint called Charlie. This one we're going to enter again in MGRS, but we're going to give it a 6-figure grid reference instead, so it's a little quicker to enter. Golf 399590 goes in. You'll see these zeros are added onto the end. As long as it's an even number, the input will work. Elevation has updated. And now, from there, we can start editing the elevations to what we want for flying. So I will say we want a 7,000 elevation on this one. Then, to go back to a previous waypoint we've created, there's two ways of doing this. The first method is using the plus or minus rocket key on the bottom right of the CDU. I'm going to go down to 7, which is our Bravo waypoint. And in here I'm going to use, say, we'll go to 5,000 on this one, the elevation. The other way of moving to another waypoint is, say I want to go to alpha now, which is I know is waypoint 6. I'm going to type in 6 on my scratch pad and put it into 7 there. It will change that to 6 and you'll see it's gone to the alpha waypoint. In here I'm going to use again another elevation of say 8,000. That is the waypoints created, those 3 waypoints. I'm going to then go to flight plan menu and I can create a new flight plan, say. We'll call it plan. And if we put that in there, into where 02 was, it will create a new flight plan called plan. Now, currently it has no waypoints in there, so we can go in and edit it, and we can add in our waypoints. First one is going to be our initial position. Second one is going to be, I believe it was 6, should give us alpha, it is. 7 then will give us Bravo. Then we go page down, bottom left of the CDU to get 4, and in there I think it was 8 for Charlie. There we go. So now we've got that flight plan that we want to fly, and it's currently in this flight plan here. So you can also insert waypoints, say if we wanted, say, whatever waypoint 5 is, in between initial position and alpha, we can put in MSN4. However, if we don't want that, we can click on the left hand side of that waypoint and we can clear the contents from the scratch pad once it pops up. It will now show the correct flight plan we want. Once we've got a flight plan, we can go to flight plan menu again, and you will see it's currently using this as the current flight plan. You can tell because it's got auto next to it. We can make that this flight plan 2, the current flight plan, by clicking on the left hand side here, and that will make it a manual flight plan. This will mean that the steer point has to be manually changed by you to each waypoint in the flight plan. If however you do it again, it will go to auto, and that will automatically change them once you're close enough to that waypoint. First of all, we're going to see that the coordinates have been updated, so I'm going to go over to my TAD, and I'm going to make it soy. I'm going to zoom out, and you should see that there are plenty of waypoints. The ones we were looking for are 6, 7 and 8, which you can see there, have been made. If we then go to flight plan on this dial, steer point dial, you'll see that there are lines now from 0 to 6 to 7 to 8, and now you can fly that. Looks a bit messy because we're at a different airfield. And that's it for waypoint entry with the CDU.